how y'all doing? Back again with another episode of The It Factor. As always, I'm your host, Jeremy Robinson. Today, we have someone special. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Steph Tulley, and I am the founder and CEO of Astrology.
Yes, sir. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. So in that, I would say, first off, how are you doing? Physically, mentally, emotionally?
Emotionally, yeah, all of the above. I'm doing great. Being a tech entrepreneur is somewhat of a fun roller coaster, and we are just going through the motions. So that's where we're at.
In that, we're going to jump right into that. So tell me a little bit about InsurTech. This is my first time hearing about it, and even just reading about it a little bit, I was like, wow, that's an amazing thing. Everything tech these days. So tell me a little bit about that first.
Yeah, so InsurTech, a lot of people like to put it in the same category as fintech, and I like to make the distinction, but then also show the similarities. So fintech is like what you think of crypto and blockchain and all those fun things. InsurTech is like the less sexy version of it, but what we do is similar. So insurance, we protect your assets, while finance and fintech creates assets. So what we're doing on one end is we're creating technologies that automate, make insurance easier, more user-friendly, but not so much fintech, but similar.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I like that. So in that, what led you to now, before you got to being CEO, and being so young, what led you to that, now that where you are now, what led you to that?
So I actually fell into insurance. I started out as a receptionist, and later that just evolved into learning insurance and really understanding the metrics behind it. And then I went into management turned into partnership turned into ownership, and then ownership turned into tech founder. So here we are. It's a wonderful thing, I will say.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So in that, what is your day-to-day job like now that you're a CEO? Now that you're the big person out here,
Okay, well, I'm not sure about all of that, but it's no consistency in the sense of I cannot predict what my day is going to be like. And I think that is a very important thing to know if you go into starting up any sort of company. If you're expecting a 9-to-5 schedule and expecting your day to be predictable and having interactions that are predictable, it's not going to happen. So it's really being agile with your day, but then also productive, but then also not burning yourself out. Right. I don't think that's the narrative people talk about. It's easy to try to do it all, but it's a balance.
Gotcha. You can't be burning yourself out. Me being, of course, a podcast host, but I'm a day-to-day software and database engineer. So, and so in doing those things, I do know about that burnout, and I feel like a lot of people do approach that, definitely. There's nothing wrong with it, but you got to know the signs of getting to it, because you have to take breaks, so.
It's necessary. And especially if you're a highly productive person, you have a tendency to do things to the maximum, but that's counterintuitive. It's doing things to a degree that you're effective, but then not also saying, I'm at my max every single day, because it's not sustainable. It's not.
You're right about that. Yeah. So in that, I would say, what is your it factor? Why you do what you do?
Well, I mean, I'm my it factor. I mean, I'm great. But in all seriousness, my it factor is really a sense of duty and also a sense of passion. So what I do in insurance is for the consumer. And I'm building a platform and building a product and a network that is meant for the consumer. And insurance usually isn't meant for us. It's meant for the big guys. And I think partnering with said big guys is very important, but I'm driven by the consumer and making this a better experience for everyone. So that's my it factor.
I like that. So in that, what will be one of your ultimate life goals? It can be work. You also can give anyone that you want just in regular life.
Oh, life. That is a very big question. My goodness. What are my life goals? Honestly, to be like the female Tony Stark. If I could be out here with a spaceship from insurance, perfect. If I could change the future in a small, minute way, that's even better. I just truly want to make a difference in what I do. And that's what drives me every single hour of the day, not even just every day.
Okay. Okay. So, I would say, one of my questions that I didn't write down, but I like to ask, what is something you would like to see change in the world?
Oh, where do I start? Change in the world. One of my biggest concerns is the upcoming generation. It's always been that because that is truly the future, and providing the right opportunities and education to the right people. And that's not currently happening.
Right.
And that would be if we can all have the same level of education, have the same opportunity, there's no stopping the next generation. But I'd love to see someone do that, honestly.
Gotcha. I like that. I like that. I hope that change does come, and even that's why I started this show, just to give a light and show different things that you can see done that I didn't see growing up. I never seen a person that was look like me that's the CEO of a company. So just now to be able to interview you and see that even though it's still growing, the places where you're gonna go is like beyond anybody imagine. So any young person that sees that, they definitely gonna be like, all right, cool, I can do that too. So.
So let's talk about it. Let's have the conversation. It's in the tech industry at large, the likelihood of a female becoming a unicorn, which is just a fancy way of saying $1 billion valuated company, is at 2%.
Right.
Let's add some more factors into that. The obvious being my color. That is making it a little bit less than 2%. Now let's add even the most obvious factor, me being a female. So because there isn't a clear blueprint or path, I find that doing it my most authentic way possible is the only way to do this, because I can't look at, okay, these Black young women have done this before. It's like, Steph, you got to figure it out and do it the best way you can.
Right.
So, but with you, enough about me. What about you though? Like, what drove you to like start up what you're doing?
Because you get your degree from college, and it's like cool. It's like, what am I gonna get back? I believe in changing the narrative. That's one of my biggest things I was saying. To be honest, when I was in school doing computer science, coming from a rural place in Georgia, from Fort Valley, Georgia to be exact, I didn't know that much about computer science or anything like that. Didn't know any Black people that worked in it, but I was able to do these tours in high school with the Georgia Tech, Auburn, and your Tuskegee, different schools like that that had big engineering programs. And I was like, I can do this, but I charted it to myself that once I graduate and was in my job for a couple months, I was going to start something. I didn't know what it was. And one of my friends that's been my editor since day one, is 3 years now. He's like, hey man, start you a show. You love to talk. You can network with people. I can talk to anybody. I have met so many people need to be a big name person, coming people like all type of fields. And I just can't believe where it is now. And it's just an amazing thing just to think, just to send out an email or a DM or like text somebody, or somebody might know someone, and just to see the impact they not only bring to me, but how people reach out to me like, you interviewed so-and-so, hey, can I get in touch with you? And it just makes you feel so good. And it makes me know that I feel like this is one of my purposes in life. I feel like we have multiple, but I definitely feel like it is, because every time I want to steer away from it, not saying I'm quitting it or anything, I'm not that type of person, but
No.
every time I steer away from it, like, oh, I'm gonna take a break, I'm gonna do this, somebody else messages me or something happens or I get something and I'm like, oh yeah, this is the right thing I should be doing.
And you're allowed to pivot in your career or your choices. I think pivoting is actually the most important aspect of building your career. Like if I was like, man, let me just stick to like selling and advising on insurance and risk management, would have never pivoted into tech. So pivot away, do what you got to do. And it's beautiful, actually.
Thank you. Thank you. So any other questions?
Yeah. So I notice your narrative really does focus on our community, and more specifically, the Black experience. Have you seen a shift, or are you seeing some trends happening?
Yes. So actually, with people that have been able to come on my show, I have seen people be able to connect with some of the people that came onto the show and help them get jobs in a multitude of fields, especially the tech field. I know 3 people just personally off of the people that I interviewed. They got in touch with them. They hired managers, helped them to get a job with them. So just seeing that, and it just seeing that it's not only just in tech, it's mass media. Any of this stuff I cover, I get emails. Somebody might call me like, hey, yeah, man, so reached out to me, just seeing that networking aspect led to me now writing the book, The Art of Networking, just telling how,
Okay.
how I reach out, how I network, stuff like that. Because a lot of people do ask, like, man, you got a big network. How you do this? I'm like, because I meet people every day. I start a conversation and we start talking. And it's not only just Black people either. Just this show, I wanted it to start and that be the basis because you don't see that much of stuff like this. You don't. Definitely don't.
Yeah, that's so important and a beautiful thing that you're doing. Now, one of the pushbacks I get being in my side of the industry, tech, finance, whatever have you,
Mm,
is I tend to lean away from promoting myself as the Black CEO.
mm,
And I say, I'm the choice, I'm the CEO, choose me because I'm qualified. But still, it's one thing to be proud of being the way we are. And it's an amazing thing to have a network of just amazing people that are diverse, let alone being Black, just diverse, killing it. It's amazing.
yeah, it's amazing. So thank you for that. Thank you for coming on the show, and I look forward to working with you. A part of the It Factor Network now, so that's a good thing.
Oh, excuse me. I love it. I love it.
All right, well, I'll let you get back to your day. That's pretty much the episode.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, then. Take it easy.